What's up? We're here at the IDS Center in downtown Minneapolis. We got PvPoke himself and Hypnotic Melodic. About to do our Jungle Cup. How confident do you guys feel about it? I know you did one already. You had a pretty good record.
Decent, yeah. Not to spoil anything, but I have the same roster as last time, so...
I didn't look at your roster, so...
Hope you haven't looked at my tweets too closely.
No, I don't think I looked at your team, so it'll be a surprise. How about you? This is your first tournament.
I'm feeling like I'm going to get whooped because I don't know what I'm doing.
And that's what happened to me in Tempest Cup, and now we're here, so...
I'm going to try, though. I feel like I've got really good Pokemon. Several friends have confirmed, yes, you have good Pokemon. The problem is the decision-making. I'm not good with the decision making, so.
And that's the biggest thing to learn from as well. Like I've brought pretty good teams to all my tournaments, but it wasn't really until Rainbow Cup that I started following all the resources and other YouTubers and kind of started getting my team up. So yeah. I feel pretty confident about this one. Honestly, Jungle Cup is probably the one I feel the most confident about so far. I've been learning from every cup, but let's hop on into it, guys, and we'll see how it goes. See y'all on the other end.
First two matches of the tournament were against Peter Piper. And I forgot to take a screenshot of his team, so I forget what all six of his Pokemon were. But looking back on these matches, he had a Vigoroth, Vespiquen, Lantern, Venusaur, Wigglytuff, and I believe a Venomoth, because I brought Graveler to this matchup. He might have had Noctowl. I know he had two that were weak to Graveler. So we're going to lead with Fortress there, and then follow. He gave up switch priority, so we're going to come in with the Graveler right away. We know we're going to be able to tank whatever this is. So it's going to be an X-Scissor, and looking back on it, I really liked Fortress as a lead in this cup because he's so tanky and doesn't really have any bad matchups at all. We're going to hit whatever comes in with a Rock Blast right away just because if it's a Vigoroth, I don't want it knocking us out before we're able to get to a Thunderbolt. So we're going to go straight for that Rock Blast. It ends up being a Lantern, and we maybe could have barely gotten to a Thunderbolt, but it would have been way too close. I was fine just to hit it with the Rock Blast. So now we're going to come in with the Vigoroth. Since we got some health down on the Lantern, we're going to try and burn some shields with Body Slam. So we're going to go straight for it there before he's able to get to one. And this tournament was a couple days after the new charge move mechanic, so I spent a lot of time practicing the day before. With those new charge moves, I practiced all of the types. And unfortunately, he is able to get one off before we are able to knock him out. We're going to shield just in case it is a Hydro Pump. It ends up being Thunder, so that's an interesting one as opposed to Thunderbolt. I'm guessing he was probably out of TMs or something like that. And we're going to switch last second because I know he has the energy built up on the Vigoroth. So we're going to sub out to tank that Body Slam. And we're going to go straight for the Rock Tomb, overcharge a little bit so he thinks it's Earthquake, and then try and shield bait with the Rock Tomb. I ended up going with that over Heavy Slam. We are able to get the shield out, but I liked Rock Tomb better just because it has the more positive matchups against the Flyers and the Bugs, whereas Heavy Slam is really only against Wigglytuff, and I have Venusaur for that, so we're going to tank another Body Slam here, and we're hoping we're able to get to another Rock Tomb before he knocks us out, and we are just barely able to. So I believe we are going to be able to bait a shield out of him here. Yeah, so we get that last shield, obviously it's his last Pokemon, and then he's going to go for that Body Slam. I'm guessing we went for it at the same time and I had priority. So we're going to opt not to shield that, obviously, because we're almost dead, and we're just going to be able to come in and finish him off with a couple counters. On to match 2. Match 2, we're going to go with the Fortress lead again. It worked well for me, and I assume he's going to mix things up on his side. So I'm not too concerned about it, and it ends up working out phenomenally because he does bring that Venusaur, and Fortress has a very positive matchup against it. Now, I'm surprised he's not going to switch out at this point. So we're going to take whatever that is. We know Frenzy Plant, Sludge Bomb, Fortress can tank either of them. Ends up being a Frenzy Plant, and it does not do that much damage to us. So we're going to overcharge a little bit. Again, so he thinks it might be an Earthquake. Actually, no, I'm not going to go for the charge move there. We're going to try and feint him only with fast moves. So we're going to tank that once again. And this is where I have some maybe a little bit questionable decision making. We're going to tank this last move. We're not going to shield. And we're going to finish off the Venusaur completely with Bug Bites. So we have a sliver of health left. We're going to feint it, and we're going to go straight for... I forget which one it was. Earthquake. So we go straight for Earthquake. I probably should have done Rock Tomb just since he has shields. We might have been able to get 2 of them off. but it ends up working out in our favor because he does not shield it on the Lantern. So now we're able to come in with the Venusaur and finish it off with Razor Leafs, charge up a bit of energy, and now he's down 2 Pokemon already. He still has 2 shields, but so do we, so I like my odds in Venusaur versus Wigglytuff. This is where I know I'm in a very positive situation. So we see Charm doing a lot of damage. We're going to go for the Frenzy Plant just because we get to it a little bit faster than a Sludge Bomb, and I know between that, I mean, we're going to burn a shield, obviously, so that's why I go for the lower energy cost move, but I know we're pretty much going to be able to finish it off with Razor Leafs alone. So these matches went very well for us. We went 2-0 against them. Match 2, I ended up not recording just because I recorded about the first 5 or 6 attempts. We had to restart at least that many times because I hit so much lag. I was tired of constantly recording and stopping and deleting the old recording, and I think I eventually just forgot to record. So I ended up going 0-2 against Whitesmith. I mean, we see his team here. He has a pretty good team. I didn't really prepare for the Wigglytuff. We were able to take it down well in the last matchup. This one, not as much. Honestly, since I don't have the footage, I can't look back on it, but from memory, I didn't make too many mistakes. He just played very well and brought teams that pretty much directly countered my teams. So props to him once we were able to actually break through the lag. That was probably the most frustrating part of the day, but he won fair and square, so I'm not mad with that loss. But let's hop into the next match, which is probably the headliner match for me today. So looking at Matt's team, first thing I see is fantastic, no Wigglytuff, don't have to worry about that. I do see a fairly meta team aside from that. Beedrill, I wouldn't say is off meta, but it's not standard meta. We have the Noctowl, Vigoroth, Venusaur, Fortress, and Lantern, which are all very meta Pokemon. So we're going to go ahead and lead with Fortress, and we're going to bring Vigoroth. And then I'm going to take a chance and go with the Alolan Graveler to try and counter the Noctowl and the Beedrill. So that's what we're going to go with first match. We'll see how it works out for us. For the second tournament in a row, we have to play against Kakuna Matata 42, i.e. Mr. PvPoke himself. We ended up beating him 2-1 in the Rainbow Cup in 3 of the closest matches I've ever had. So I'm hoping I'm able to replicate that success here. I'm going to lead with Fortress once again, have a pretty neutral matchup against Vigoroth. I think Vigoroth does technically win if it has Bulldoze. So we see him overcharge a bit here, so I presume he has 2 Body Slams going now. We're not going to shield, we're going to try and tank those. I'm thinking maybe he overcharged to make me think he was going for Bulldoze to try and shield bait. Not going to work there. We're going to go for the Rock Tomb after overcharging a little bit, making him think it's Earthquake, and he is going to shield that. Now I see him going for another move, and I am going to shield this because I presume it's going to be Bulldoze since he overcharged the first time. It ends up being Body Slam, so we did get baited there. We're going to pull up our switch, and we're going to try and switch right away. It doesn't work, so now we go for Graveler. And we're just going to be able to do a ton of damage to this Noctowl. We're going to opt not to shield here. We're going to try and tank the Sky Attack, just because I know we resist it. It ends up being a Nightshade instead of a Sky Attack. I was just happy to see somebody else running Nightshade instead of Psychic. Honestly, don't get all the hype around Psychic. Nightshade, I feel like, is just a better move in this meta. I could be wrong, but from my success and from my practicing, that is what I've come to. We're able to finish off the Noctowl with a Rock Blast. He's going to opt not to shield that. And I'm presuming it's going to be a Vigoroth coming back in, and it is. So I'm just hoping we're able to get to a Rock Blast first. And we are not. We have it charged up, but we are not able to get it off. So we know whatever comes in, he's going to be hitting it with a Body Slam, and that's why I'm unsure what to sub in with, but ultimately it is going to be Vigoroth, and we're hoping that we're able to knock it off with a counter before he gets to a second Body Slam, because he should have enough energy charged up for one, and he told me after I knocked it out that he did have enough for a second one. So now we're going to maybe think about switching here. We're going to get a Body Slam off first. Normal type charge move isn't the worst, and now we're going to switch right away, and we're going to tank whatever charge move comes in. We are going to shield it just because we have a Rock Tomb, so the goal of the Body Slam was to burn his shield, and then go for the Rock Tomb. Unfortunately, he does have 2 charged up, and that was the death of us here. If we were able to get that Rock Tomb off, it would have been a completely different game, but he anticipated the switch, which was one of his best plays of the match. So now we are going to go for the body slam, but it's pretty much going to be too little too late. So we do get the excellent on it. It does a good chunk of damage, but we are just barely able to not get enough counters off to finish him. So he's going to take this first game. We're going to hop into the second one in just a second here. And it's time for game 2. So we're going to lead with Vigoroth this time. Going to try and switch things up. And we probably should have stuck with the Fortress lead just because it does have that Rock Tomb and it's going to resist anything that Beedrill throws at us. So we get a bit of an interesting matchup here. I didn't practice against Beedrill that much. I just didn't really like it in this cup. I didn't really like it in Rainbow either. I didn't get the hype for it, but it turns out I was wrong. It's a very good Pokemon. And we're going to switch to tank his fast move, and that was a perfectly timed switch. That was the high note of my matches against Kakuna Matata, because I did not play the best against him. So he's going to come in with his Vigoroth now. And that's just one of the things I love about Fortress in this cup. It really has no counters. Like Vigoroth, he brought it in. It's a good Pokemon to counter, but look how much Body Slam does to it. Not that much. So Fortress is my favorite Pokemon in the Jungle Cup. If you don't have Fortress on your team, I feel like you need to rethink your team personally. And you don't even need the second charge move on it to be effective. Like, I ran it in Rainbow Cup and it did well for me, and I just had Rock Tomb. I did lose like 1 game because I didn't have Earthquake on it. But by and large, it's a pretty strong Pokemon. So we're going to come in with the Heracross now to take out his Vigoroth, and I assume he does have 2 charged up, so we're going to save one of our shields for the second one if he does have it, which he does, so we're going to go ahead and shield there as well. We're going to try and finish him off with the counters before he gets to a second Body Slam. And we are just barely able to do that. He's probably 1 counter, if not less, away from the second Body Slam. I don't really count fast moves because I just accept that I'm not going to be that good at PvP. We see the Lantern come in, and we're going to go for a Mega Horn. Probably should have went for the close combat, but I was just trying to get the charge move off before I got knocked out. And ultimately, it does end up burning a shield regardless, so it didn't matter that much. And now we have 1 Pokemon left. He has 2, but we do have shield advantage on him. So we're going to have to shield this here. And I believe one of his is the half-health Beedrill. So probably not looking the best for us. But we're going to go for the Body Slam regardless, and he brought the Beedrill in just to tank that Body Slam. So that was a very good switch on his part as well. So we are able to finish that off. And then he's going to come back in with the Lantern, and we have a second Body Slam charged up since we overcharged a little bit. But it's still going to be too little too late. And I actually really messed up in this match because if you'll see right at the ending here, I'm trying to finish him off with counters. I'm tapping on his Pokemon out of my Body Slam, and we did have a Body Slam charged up. So we should have been able to finish him off. That was just a huge mistake on my part. Should have gone to game 3, but regardless, very good matches against Kakuna Matata. So for the last match of the day, at this point I'm 1-2. I'm just trying to get another win to get my record back up to 500, not lose any win percentage in this tournament. Looking at this team, I don't know what to think. It doesn't have Vigoroth. It has Breloom, which I know is supposed to be a Vigoroth counter, but Heracross is just a better way to go. It has Venomoth as a Vigoroth counter as well. Alolan Raichu, which I haven't seen too much of. Victory Bell instead of Venusaur, which is definitely a suitable replacement if you don't have Frenzy Plant. I do see that perfect Fortress, which is nice, and the perfect Cradily is interesting. I know the goal with Cradily is pretty much to spam Infestation Stone Edge, so I kind of know what strategy he's going for here, but regardless, I'm going to bring Fortress as a lead because it beats everything here. It beats Venomoth and Fortress with Stone Edge and Earthquake respectively. And it's going to be Victory Bell, Cradily, Alolan Raichu, and Breloom with Bug Bite, so I know that's my safest bet. Aside from that, I'm going to bring Noctowl to go up against the Victory Bell, Venomoth, Fortress. For this last match, like I said, I'm going to lead with Fortress as my opener. We're going to see what he leads with, and I assume it's going to be a positive matchup. It does turn out to be positive with that Cradily, So right away we see the Infestation doing absolutely nothing to us and Bug Bite starting to chip away at his health. So we're going to force that switch. We're going to see how much damage we're doing. Ends up being a good chunk, but ultimately we are going to switch into Noctowl just because of that 4 times effectiveness. And I assume whatever he throws is going to hit hard but knock us out. I just did not expect it to hit that hard. So probably should have shielded there, but it ends up working out for us because we're able to finish it off and charge up a Sky Attack. We're going to see what he comes in with, but regardless, we're going to hit it with a Sky Attack. So we're just tapping that real hard right now. And we are able to just barely get it off. We miss one of those little icons, we let it get by us there. The rest we are able to get, but regardless, it's just going to burn a shield. And we're able to get 1 wing attack off before he finishes us with Infestation. We're going to come back in with Fortress, and I know it's going to be a Stone Edge coming, so I think we're going to be safe. I just did not expect it to do this much damage to us either, so that's another one I probably should have shielded. But we're going to try and hit it with the Earthquake there just because I know he's Rock type, so it's going to be neutral on him as opposed to resistant if we had gone with Rock Tomb. And he is not going to shield that there. So we're going to see what his last Pokemon is. Ends up being a Alolan Raichu. So we see Bug Bite doing a good chunk of damage to it before it knocks us out. So I know at this point, a full health Vigoroth with 2 shields is going to win this matchup. So obviously all I have to do here is shield the Wild Charge. I do like that Shiny Flex though. I am in approval of that. But regardless, we're just going to go for the Body Slam, burn that last shield on him, and then it's pretty much going to be over from there because we still have 1 more shield left and higher health. So we do get the Excellent on that one, burn that last shield, and then we're just going to go for a couple more counters. We're going to shield this. I assume it's going to be a Thunder Punch this time because I'm not sure he had enough to charge up to Wild Charge. Turns out he did. But regardless, we're just going to go straight for that Body Slam, and we are able to finish off this match, which if he had been able to get to 1 more Wild Charge, I'm not sure if that would have knocked us out or not, but it definitely would have been close. So let's hop on into match 2. Match 2, we're going to bring the exact same team just because it counters his team so well, and it worked very nicely for us in the first matchup, and that was even with poor shield management. So we see he's going to switch right away, and we're going to follow that switch, or maybe we don't. I think we stick in this one. So we're going to go right for that Rock Tomb. Try and get a shield out of him or hit him for a decent chunk of damage on his Fortress. So it does end up getting through. And I see him charging up a bit more energy here. So I assume it's going to be an Earthquake. So I'm going to shield. I don't think he's shield baiting me. And it does end up being an Earthquake. So that was a good shield on our part. And now we're going to switch out. We're going to go straight for that Noctowl. And try and finish off the Fortress. And as much energy as he's charging up, I assume it is going to be another Earthquake, so I'm going to chance it. I don't want to burn my last shield, I want to save it for Vigoroth, and it does end up being an Earthquake, so we get the immunity to resistance there, and it works out very nicely for us. We don't need to use a move right away, we can see what comes in, but now that we see that it's a Cradily, we can go for Sky Attack. And this time we do get all those icons for an Excellence tier attack. Unfortunately, he is going to shield it. However, we charged up enough energy just downing that Fortress that we have a second Sky Attack ready to go. And once again, we're able to get all those icons for the Excellent, and we do hit the Cradily with a Sky Attack. It doesn't do as much damage as I think it would, and it's at this point I decide to tank the Stone Edge and save my shield for Vigoroth. So Stone Edge is able to knock out the Noctowl. However, we do have Fortress that's able to come back in. Oh no, I brought Vigoroth. I don't know why I did that. Probably should have brought Fortress. We're gonna try and feint it here with just counters so we can charge up 2 Body Slams for whatever's coming in the back end. We're gonna shield this Stone Edge here just to keep Vigoroth at full health and try and finish off whatever he brings. So we're gonna hit this with a Body Slam. Ends up being a Breloom, so he played that pretty well, not subbing into the Breloom right away, so I could bring the Noctowl to take out his Vigoroth counter. So that was a good play on his part, saving that for the end. And we're gonna go for another Body Slam here. Now that he's out of shields, we know this one's gonna get through. We get the Excellent, and then we're gonna switch right out of there, so he's not able to farm up energy on my Vigoroth. So if I had kept the Vigoroth in, he would have been able to farm up energy because he probably would have won that matchup. And then hit my Fortress with a Dynamic Punch and finish it out. but we forced his hand bringing the Fortress in, and now we're just able to down it with 1 counter. So we're going to go 2-0 in this one, finish off 2-2 on the day.
All right, so after the tournament, I did not do as well as I thought I would. Josh, you went 2-2, right?
2-2.
And then PvPoke ended up winning with a 4-0 record, so congrats on that. What do you think the key was to your success?
I really practiced learning your lineups and feeling really comfortable with them. I ran the same set of 3 almost the whole time.
Interesting.
And just knowing which situations come up, you know, what I have to do to get out of that.
Sure.
And just being really comfortable with it.
And you seem to be able to read people's teams really well. I mean, you told me the strategy you read for mine, most Heracross users will tend to bring them to counter the Vigoroth. Obviously, that's what they're for, but you saw my double counters, so you brought your double flyers, and it ended up working. So
yeah, that was,
just very good strategy overall.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. Congrats on the win, man. We're gonna hop into
Thanks so
community
much.
day now.